Let's dive into a phenomenon that plagues even the most advanced learners: the discrepancy between your auditory comprehension and your spontaneous speech. You've reached a point where you can follow a fast paced debate or a nuanced documentary with total ease. And yet, the moment you need to contribute, you feel a massive lag in your brain. Imagine you're at a dinner party with native speakers. Someone makes a witty joke or asks for your opinion on a complex topic. You have the perfect response in your mind. It's articulate, it's funny, and it's nuanced. But by the time your brain retrieves the English words, the conversation has already moved on. You're left with a red X over your mouth, feeling like your true personality is being bottlenecked by your language level. It's incredibly demoralizing. To troubleshoot this, we have to look at how we built our foundation. High-level literary input allowed you to recognize complex structures and nuanced synonyms. You've encountered these words thousands of times, which is the first step toward acquisition. But recognition is not the same as mastery. Then there's the auditory component. By immersing yourself in native level content, you've internalized the unwritten rules of English. This has built a massive passive reservoir, a collection of language that you recognize instantly, but haven't yet activated. Think of it as a library where you know every book title, but you haven't memorized the pages yet. The ear remains the primary engine of fluency. Even at C1, you still need massive amounts of maintenance input to keep your predictive processing sharp. This is the brain's ability to anticipate the next word in a sentence before it's even spoken. When your predictive processing is fast, your speech becomes effortless because you aren't choosing words, you're just flowing with them. Think back to when your brain was a blank slate, that empty wooden bucket. Every breakthrough you've had since then has been the result of consistent, meaningful exposure. You didn't get to C1 by accident. You got here by filling this bucket drop by drop. Initially, every new word was a struggle to remember. You were consciously storing information, which is a slow, heavy process. But true fluency isn't about storage. It's about neural pathways. It's about the speed at which your brain can travel from a thought to a word. By consistently choosing high-interest, comprehensible content, you've kept the faucet wide open. You've moved past studying and into living in the language. At this level, the quality of your water matters. You need high-flow input, real, messy, idiomatic English to keep that bucket topped off. At the C1 level, your bucket isn't just full, it's deep. You have a vast understanding of nuance. However, you're still experiencing a retrieval lag. This is the physical time it takes for your brain to search the bottom of the bucket for a specific high-level word and bring it to the surface. It's a bit like a computer with a full hard drive, but a slow processor. The advanced trap is trying to over-engineer your speech. You might try to force a complex grammatical structure into a casual conversation just to prove your level. But because that word isn't cemented yet, it feels clunky. You're essentially trying to grab the water with your hands, which only causes more turbulence and makes the word even harder to find. This leads to a performance block. When you're under pressure, your brain's effective filter goes up. In this state, your brain defaults to the path of least resistance. It falls back on the safe words you learned as a beginner. This is why you might sound like an A2 student when you're nervous, even though you're a C1 student in your head. At this stage, more grammar drills are effectively useless. You already know the mechanics. Analyzing a sentence won't help you feel the rhythm of a conversation. Textbooks are for observers. Input is for participants. You don't need a map of the water anymore. You just need to stay in the pool. The key is to lean into content that challenges you emotionally. When you're truly engaged with a story, when you're laughing, crying, or feeling angry at a character, your filter drops. Your brain stops protecting you and starts absorbing. This is how you bridge the gap. You don't learn the words, you acquire them through the back door of your subconscious. You're reaching the tipping point. You'll notice small victories, using a phrasal verb instinctively or correcting yourself without thinking. You're no longer searching for the right word. The right word is starting to present itself to you. This is the sign that your passive vocabulary is becoming active. And then the overflow happens. The language becomes an extension of your identity. There's no more translation, no more lag, and no more filtering. The words pour out because your internal reservoir is so full that it simply has to escape. You are no longer speaking English, you are just speaking. This is authentic fluency. You're navigating the world with confidence, expressing your true complex personality in a second language. It doesn't come from studying harder. It comes from trusting the process and filling the bucket until that bucket can't hold anymore. Thanks for joining me today, and keep immersing yourself, and I'll see you in the next lesson.